Yo, what up, is your boy Soulo, and this is going to be about how religion is basically spiritual destruction, because you're allowing colonizers to dictate how you see things. They just gave it to you, but it's like a general thing where people can have faith and belief, and we're not really supposed to do that with our mind, because we're already self-creating ourselves with how we think and feel. And how we think and feel is the only mechanism that's always changing, just like the seasons. And people got this misconception of your thoughts and feelings are like how the white man described it, like your thinking is just thinking, or mental, or just your brain doing that. And that ties to like all the way back, like scientific type shit, like subconscious, spiritual thing, whatever. And your feelings is just your feelings, science is not spiritual. It's like trying to like theories and shit. It's like putting theories and not really understanding, because everything is spiritual first. You see everything in nature growing, expanding, evolving, bacteria, bugs, humans, all the way up to humans, animals and shit. So it's like having common sense and seeing it. Everything is just evolutionary and growing and expanding, and we are self-creating our experience based on every type of species and phenotype, every type of race. But there is no really type of race, because everything is like a collective of spectrums. But we are creating our experience as well when we don't know our truth, being colonized, and how the white people do things is for their favor and not for mankind or humanity. So that's why they do all this retarded shit, like separation, division, conquer, destroy, make believe that they're on your side, but humans are dumb as fuck. On both sides, the government and humans. But you gotta give humans grace and do the right thing, because if you knew what I do, you have no choice but to do it, but to continue to be you and develop your spirituality and growth, and really being relatable towards nature. Like you gotta be relatable towards nature. You're on Earth, taking from Earth, living on Earth, experiencing on Earth. But people do the opposite. They like destroy it type shit. And you need to understand, this is a spirit we're living on top of. Like I said before, like everything is growing and expanding. We're living inside of a spirit, just like we are spirits. So if you don't take care of yourself, it's gonna look like that externally, not taking care of the earth, not knowing yourself, that you're connected to the earth. So that's what the government is doing too, and they're retarded because they don't know themselves. So they're destroying themselves by destroying the external world, not knowing that you're both connected spiritually. Like literally, you're made of the same components of the earth. So we live inside of the earth. Is a spirit connecting spirit thing, and it's all about frequency and vibration. The way you're seeing it through your physical body, like it's normal, like being solid, you're separated from the external. It seems like that because you're not connected to it. You're not spiritual enough. You have a belief, imagination and belief of that being external, instead of being in the belief of allowing yourself to understand more Like, you gotta allow yourself to understand more and try to connect to a higher knowing type thing. But it's also, you gotta do it like, you just gotta be yourself too. Like, you can't be like caring about a desire, because we create the desire and it manifests physically, literally, like it does. So that's the most relatable knowing to understand, and most people don't know that shit. So thinking that a God is outside of you, or some type of belief like science, is all synthetic, because you understand, you've been colonized and you've been fed all these lies. And the natives were spiritual, they were peaceful, they were, doing things the right way. Everything the white people said about them was a lie. Literally everything. Them being savages, even though they are savages, but like in, not in morally ways where like it would be necessary or something. But white people were, the real savages. Not like they painted the natives to be savages. Like they were peaceful, like really. But the white people, conquered them and shit, raped them, destroyed their cultures, and that was the right way to live. So they understood the laws of nature and how they were connected to the earth. So white people wasn't doing that. They was literally colonizing. That's why they were called colonizers, because they wanted to take resources and do whatever they wanted, because they just saw it as a traveling and experiencing, like a traveling experience, like just discovering shit and thinking that, oh, if this is here for us, then it's for us to take, not knowing that they're connected to a spirit, earth. You live inside of earth. Earth is a spirit, and beyond that too. So you see everything has spirits on earth. You see plants are spirits coming, these are spirits. You need to understand that. All the way evolving to animals, bacteria, bugs, animals, all types of species and shit. But yeah, even the atmosphere is a spirit. It's just playing out in different ways. So, like the air, the water type shit, and we're made of the same thing in different forms, like density and shit, like light or heavy. But it's the spirit is creating the mind, the intelligence, and that those ideas, those visions that we're having mentally, that's fluid. That's like in motion, and becoming density. So this is what we're all doing collectively, and we live inside of God, which already did it first. He already went through that mental ideas and vision expansion, and when you do that mentally, that becomes density, and feelings and shit and vibrations becoming density, and that happens simultaneously. Your thoughts and feelings creating realities, creating visions, ideas. And it's the same way in your dream. When you're dreaming and you're just floating in your mind, that's your first body. Your first body is your mental body. And however you're dreaming as a human, it wasn't the same dream as it was when you're like a dog, or previously when you're like growing as a small spirit, like bacteria or something. All these things have imaginations and visions and dreams, just in their own percentage scale. So it's developing its awareness as it's as it's going through spiritual expansion, and this is how things evolve of a train. But yeah, these things are growing, like going through spiritual growth and expansion, and you know, this is what we're all doing, like collectively. We see it in front of us. So whatever the colonizers taught you, it practices separation and division, and you know, living isolated. When the truth is, you know, species come together, humans come together to build and be relatable in the genuine way, you know, just by being yourself and not, you know, being synthetic and chasing for monetary gains, or, you know, it causes, you know, synthetic GMO actions, thoughts and feelings, you know, that directs it to your root chakra, which is your survival, and you know, and things of that nature. So people need to wake up, because this shit is serious. Because if people don't wake up, tsunamis, hurricanes, volcanoes happens, and you know what happened right now. Recently, all these things just happened simultaneously. So you motherfuckers gotta wake up, because you know, the grass is green on our side, but for y'all it's really is on fire. That shit is black, everything. That shit poison. But you know, I'll catch you later. Peace.